Thank you for joining us for episode 4 of the Fineprint, where a group of 3 individuals gets together to discuss, just relevant topics of interest, relevant subject matter, and just, things we're going through in our everyday lives to help you live your best day, your best life every day. So
That's right.
welcome. I'm Tai Davis.
And I'm Feleg.
I'm Monjour.
Welcome to the Fineprint.
Hey girl. Hey.
How are you guys doing this week, man? You guys doing well?
Feeling good, feeling great. I know I say that quite often,
That's a good thing to say.
I mean, I genuinely have just joy, from here on out. That's just how I am. So there's definitely things that have put a damper on my week, but when that happens, I'm just like, I need to go for a bike ride. I need to let some steam. Or something that a friend of mine was just telling me. She was like, girl, you want to go shooting?
I love shooting, yes!
I need a little some aggression.
Live your best Saturday life.
Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. Let's go. Okay. So, yeah, it feels good just to, release and, let that, negative energy go in some, constructive ways.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Rather than resorting to drugs or alcohol or just losing your goddamn mind,
Yeah, and if you need to practice, shooting, there you go.
Done. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I look prissy, but I love guns.
America.
I love shooting things. Not people, not animals really, but targets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
right.
we in there.
Right.
Yes, we're definitely in there.
We don't advocate shooting people.
We definitely, no. There's been enough of that.
Too much. Oof, yes.
But that's awesome, though.
How about you, Monty? How you feeling?
I feel good. I'm ready to express myself. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to kiki and let loose.
Yes, always ready to kiki.
Okay.
I heard of it.
Just want to have fun.
Love it. Well, as every episode of the Fineprint, we always start off with our weekly mantra this week. This week I want to do something a little bit different, I think we always have these weird kind of mantras and stuff that we have out there where we're just oh my God, I'm trying to change the world to do that stuff. Today we're not about that life. Mm-hmm. Today we're just about having a good day. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people just forget about just our mental capacities and how much control we have over our certain situations and stuff, which I always tell people, it's all about how you react to things. You have full control of how you react to your day. So
Thank you.
Today's mantra is, I'm going to have a good day because I'm going to manifest a good day,
Yes. Whatever the world throws at you.
Yep.
And just saying, pause.
Absolutely.
How do I want to react to the situation right here?
And
am I going to allow it to affect my energy or no?
Don't let it affect it. It's about choices.
Yes.
So actually we're going to rephrase that. We're going to say, I choose to have a good day. No, I'm going to have a good day because I choose to have a good day.
Yes.
It's all about choices. It's all about us deciding how we feel, what our emotional capacities are. A lot of times you butthurt, you in your feels and stuff, you can snap out of it because it's your choice to feel that way.
Right, exactly.
Yep. You chose to feel cunty today. You chose to come to work and be in a bad mood. No, we're not about that. So
I'm not going to subscribe.
Yep, I'm not going to subscribe. Yes, unsubscribe. Cancel subscription.
Click.
No, that's a powerful saying because I think I actually had that realization this morning when I woke up. I literally said, I'm going to be happy today.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to have a good day. There's things that I got to do and I'm going to do them well.
You can do them well.
When I've really noticed, when I choose to be in a bad mood or choose to be down, that's literally a choice that I'm making. And I'm choosing it over and over again, but I can just change my mind.
Yep. And you guys heard what he said.
Yes.
He said, when I'm choosing to have a bad day, when I'm choosing to react negatively, these are all choices. We all have people in our lives that bring us some kind of negativity or just irk our nerves.
Yeah.
But it is literally up to us how we react to those situations.
Yes.
If you go to work and you're always consistently in a bad mood, think about why I'm in a bad mood. Is it because everyone else around me can't be because they probably working 8 hours? So it's literally you being in that mind frame for 8 hours.
Yes.
You choosing to be butthurt. You choosing to be incapacitated for yourself. You choosing to just be angry for whatever reason it is that you want to be angry, just so you can feel something.
Right.
That's not what we're about today.
And then that choice being rippled to everyone that you come into contact with. So you're just literally passing this on to everybody
Your negative behaviors, your negative day. Now Becky has a negative day. Now Karen's got a negative day.
Thank
So
you.
now your whole workplace is negative because you came in negative.
Hold on, wait. So I got a story. Okay, because on my floor, on my unit, there are certain people that I know are negative Nancy's, and so working in a hospital setting,
No offense to
you
Nancy.
can't.
Sorry, Nancy's. No offense to Nancy.
No, yeah.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so you can't light anything because like they say with sage, and if you light sage, it's gonna get rid of
Oh yeah, the energy.
the bad energy, the bad juju, whatever you want to call it. And so obviously in a hospital setting, they have oxygen. You can't just
Like
torch.
sage.
Yeah, you can't just light a sage. So I'm just like, what is another option? So what I started doing was. I would spray people with sage. But so they started out, they were trying to make fun of me, and they were like, girl, what kind of other hippie stuff you on now? And I'd be like, you're not gonna affect my day. I'd be like, as soon as I hear them talking negative and being negative, but it was, I brought it intentionally to kind of lighten the mood, and so by the end of the shift, people were like, "Where's that sage spray?"
Right.
Because this patient is acting a damn fool, they would just be like, "I'm trying to find it, where is it?" And try to and then it ended up being, where they would be like, I don't know where it is, but you need to fix that situation.
You need to fix all of this because we're not about this today.
So
Right.
so that energy that you bring does affect your environment. So you can choose whether to react to somebody being negative and be like, all right, I'm not even gonna take this personal. It's all about you and you all in your feelings and all in your mood. I'm gonna choose to remain positive. And so that was my way of doing that.
Absolutely.
And bringing that energy in. So then that way it's I'm gonna try my best to make sure that I not only guard my energy, but give that positive energy. So making my energy stronger than
That's all
theirs.
karma. That's literally you
And so
living your best life to be able to
Yes.
give back to other individuals.
Exactly.
You want
And nobody
all
wants
that
to be
karmic
around
energy
somebody
to be
negative.
in there. You want to be giving out as much as you're receiving because that makes you more abundant.
Yes.
And if you got to spray hose with some sage in order to get what you got, baby, you got to spray the hose with some sage.
I was
girl.
at one point, everybody's being negative on the unit, and I was I was spraying the whole unit. I was everybody. I was like, you want to get sprayed? You want to get sage? They'd be like, spray me, fella. I'd be like, all right. Yo, I appreciate my coworkers because they allow me to be myself.
I love it, but hopefully you're definitely bringing them some joy. But it's probably also what they needed that day.
But
Right,
yes, and they did.
Yep.
And we continued that tradition.
Beautiful. Well, that was actually an amazing story. I'm going to get me some sage in a spray bottle and start spraying people and
Yeah,
whatnot.
girl. Your local mystic shop.
Right?
I'm sure we'll have it.
Until our viewers, though, can actually get some sage. Actually, clear sage is the best. You can always get them in just essential oils. It's absolutely amazing. I'm all about essential oils, so go get your essential oils. They're life-changing. But if you can't do that, then just think about this mantra. You
Yes.
control your emotions. You control your choices.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have a good day because I choose to have a good day.
Yeah.
That's what we're reflecting on today.
Yeah.
That is going to be part of our breathing exercise. So when you start your day off today, when you wake up in the morning, you're about to go to work or wherever it is you're going to go, if you got a lot of kids and you're just like, I don't want them to work my nerves, just be like, I'm gonna have a good day. You're going through lots of things because we're still doing the pandemic type of situation, just tell yourself, I choose to have a good day because it is always up to you to have a great day. So, like we always do, we're gonna start our mantra with a breathing exercise. Just 12 seconds of your time is all we need today for the fine print. We always start off with 4 seconds of deep breaths.
Let's do it.
Yep. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. That's all we need today.
I'm ready.
So, on the count of 1, I want you to really, really manifest you having the best day of your life. Today we're going to breathe in all of the hope, all of our good choices. We're going to breathe out all of our negative choices, all of the things that kind of get to us. If you already had stressful wording, just breathe all that stuff out. It is unnecessary. You don't take that throughout your day. We want to continue this day being the best person of ourselves. So, starting from 4, we're going to count backwards. I would love for you to breathe in and breathe out. So, with a deep breath, 4, 3, 2, 1, breathe in all of your good intentions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out the negative influences. Again, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in all positivity. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling. One more time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Then a really good breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Love it. Now we're grounded, we're oxygenated, we hopefully are a little bit calmer, and now we can live our best days. If anyone tries to come for you, baby, breathe them out. That's what I always say. Exhale them out. That's all you have to do. It literally is as easy as that, people. It really is as easy as just breathing and exhaling. Like I said, don't be a shallow breather. Shallow breathing is the worst thing you possibly do. So deep breaths and just know we are the pretty much captains of all of our choices. We control all that stuff. So have your best day, guys. Love
Yes.
it. Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, Ty.
Of course, boo boo.
I look forward to those because it's like it helps me
Yes.
feel grounded because I was hella like energetic just then. That just
always
like
love that
woosah me and like calm me down.
We do it before my segment, so I can feel grounded right before my segment.
Yes.
I always
I'll
think,
put the energy back up again.
okay. No, but you like when you really do breathe deeply and exhale deeply, you notice a difference
You have
than you
to.
normally
Yes.
breathe. It's
Yes.
like
It's the strangest thing.
it's
Because
like, geez.
it's an automatic thing we do just all the time, and we forget about how in control we are. Like, yes, it's one of the things, like our body just naturally does. Yeah. But at the same time, we are still in control of our breaths. We have to breathe so we can stay alive.
Right.
Yeah.
But whether it is a relaxing breath, whether it is a breath of solace, where it is a breath of anxiety, we have full control over that. So breath is honestly key. Like I told you, met this super cool guy named Al Bailey. He always told me, breath is the first thing we do when we're born,
Yeah.
the last thing we do when we die. It's always a part of us. So being really cognizant of your breathing, being really just conscientious of your breathing and how you're feeling is extremely reflective of what your present state is.
Yeah.
So if you have shallow breathing, if it's erratic, chances are you're gonna just erratic. So bring it back down to a level. We're all good.
Calm down, girl.
Calm down, girl. Especially for this episode. This episode is all about friendships and relationships.
Yes.
So we definitely breathe deep.
Okay. Okay.
And if you need to hold a little tension ball, just like release some tension, little squeezy ball. What's it called?
Stress ball.
Stress ball,
Stress
yes.
Do what you need
What I call
to
it?
Do what you need to do.
do. Tension.
You know.
Same thing.
Same thing, right?
I always say
You know
choke
what
the
I'm
ball,
talking
don't
about.
choke people.
Okay. Please do.
Oh, yeah. That's
Because,
good.
I mean, just like at the beginning, we're talking about choices. The people that you have around you,
Choice.
those are choices as well.
Yep.
The people that you choose to include in your environment, that's a choice.
Yep.
Which affects your life
energy.
and your
Yeah,
energy.
your life. Yep.
And the people that you choose not to be around, that's a choice as well.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to talk about, for me, how I look upon how good friendships are and how to be a good friend. And sometimes we all fall flat, fall short of the glory of God. So there's no blame here. That's just talking about it and being cognizant of it.
Yeah.
So good friends to me, and we can all chime in because these are just things that came up on top of my head. And I'm sure they're all different for all of us. But what does it look like? What does it look like to be a good friend? For me, I love friends who always have my back, who always take up for me or protect me in senses that I feel like I need to be protected or I can't protect myself. Somebody that's always there for you, pretty much. Who isn't talking behind your back. We all know people will talk behind your back and then smiling to your face. That's not a friend.
We don't need those Regina Georges.
Okay.
we don't need those Regina Georges. No.
Okay, that's not what you want in your life. That's gonna you can kind of as a
We don't need those. This is the
Right.
best topic, it's hot, segment ever.
Yeah.
Okay. and also you can kind of I'm a very energetic person. I can feel people's energy, and you can feel you might not know what things are, but you can feel something's up,
something's off.
something's amiss.
Yeah.
So if your energy is off, it might be you have to look around and see, okay, what's going on? What's affecting me in this mental state, or what do I feel? Where's it coming from? It might be the people that you surround yourself with. You might have to look for that. And something that's like difficult for me, and it's still difficult for me, is like people that I know aren't like, can probably like affect my life in a positive way. Like I feel bad. I was like, oh, I feel bad. Like I don't want to like, you know, not hang around them because like they're my friend, you know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, they're my friend. It's hard like to be like, I need to cut somebody off. Like I need to like not be around them because I don't want to make them feel bad or make them feel like they're
Inadequate.
inadequate or there's something wrong with them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to look at yourself first and your life and where you're going, and sometimes those decisions are very difficult, but you have to look within yourself and know if that's a decision that I need to make. Is this person enhancing my life in a positive way, or are they affecting my life and causing me to do things that maybe I don't want to do anymore, and putting you in environments that
Are not good for your
Right.
well-being in the future.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Or conducive to growth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know that a lot of people are looking at this and looking at, you know, the people that they surround themselves with and making decisions on, okay, who do I want to be going forward and who do I want to surround myself with?
So, like,
Because
yeah.
it's so important to who you are as a person. And that's another thing of being like a good friend. It's somebody that inspires you, you know, to be a better version of yourself. And both of you guys inspire me.
Aw, thanks.
Truth and honestly, you're always expressing yourself and looking in ways to grow yourself and looking at ways to like your interests and say, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And that inspires me to be like, you know what, I can do that too. You know
As
what?
a matter of fact.
Right, I can do that. Like, let me just do that. Let me go ahead and like create a podcast with my friends and just express myself. Or there's a creative thing that I have in my brain, and if other people are doing it, like I can do it too.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Or instead of, you know, people that may put other people down because of something that they're doing. You know, you can surround yourself with people who like see somebody else accomplishing something and they're just like, why are they doing that? Like,
Yeah.
it kind of like you hear that stuff and it kind of like affects you too.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
okay. So, you said that you want to cut people out of your life that don't contribute to you in a positive way, but what if you're their inspiration?
Right.
So maybe not cutting them out, but minimizing contact.
Right.
Because then that way they know, like, okay, I could aspire to be this. Not to say like you're better than them, or you know, it's just you're on different paths.
Yeah.
But
You may be that one connection that they have
Yes.
with somebody striving.
Or just
Yes,
inspiration when it comes to
exactly.
stuff.
Right.
That comes
Exactly.
into like our last segment where we will actually discuss toxic relationships, what they look like, and if they're worth saving.
Oh, okay. So
Because that's very, very important. Like you
Yeah.
said, like I am we're all very empathetic, very compassionate individuals.
Yes.
Where every individual we have in our life, we are like, oh my God, like that's like my Judy, we're going to be in it together. We're going to be out
Yes.
there being like Mito and Olis, like doing adventures and
Right.
slaying it, smiling, like doing all this stuff. And then when things, fall through, or if you had a relationship with somebody for like 10 plus years, you're just like, hey, what's going on? Because things change. And you're like, hey, I don't really know what I want to do about this relationship. There are lots of key things that you can look at that will let you know, will this be beneficial for me in the future?
yeah,
Or is it something I need to cut ties with now
Yeah.
in order to become the best version of myself, and also just to release this individual so that they can hopefully do a
so
little
they
bit of
can be
growth as well.
themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Because sometimes when you are there as an inspiration for somebody, sometimes it's also like a hindrance because you not only act as an enabler, but then you kind of let them live out their toxic goals vicariously, like through you a
Through
lot of the
you,
times. Yes, because
yeah.
they influence you a lot of the way. So we'll get inside that at the end of it, girl.
Okay,
It's hard though
I'm-
with friends, girl. It's hard,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah,
It's hard.
Tough. It
Yeah.
is
It is
tough.
really tough.
Navigating. You
Yep.
have to like feel it out and do what's the best, at that moment or at that time.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
And something
So I
like
just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah.
I was like,
no, it's a very important point because like I feel like I try to look at it from all aspects. I'm like, okay, I know like I helped this person in some way, so I don't want to be like, no, I'm just done, you know? It's just like you have to like look at it at all aspects, and I'm glad that we're going to be revisiting that and like actually looking at points and be like, okay, now I can answer these questions and see what makes sense for me.
Yeah.
But there are some people that you got to cut off immediately. Like you
just feel it. You're like,
you're just like, no, this ain't
exactly. And for me, like I would call like energy succulents, like people who literally get energy off of you. I've had those experiences.
I call them energy vampires.
Exactly. Where it's like,
what you got? You got energy succubuses. You got energy vampires. What I got? I got like energy. What we got? I don't even know.
It's okay. You can borrow ours for a moment.
Mythological scary creature. That's like energy for me. That's what I am.
But yeah, it's just like immediately like if one of the things I noticed was like sometimes different situations come into your life to make it like, oh, did you learn that lesson before from that person that you hung out with that before? Now this same person is coming in your life
in a different form.
In a different form, exactly.
Can you recognize it?
Right. Do you recognize it?
Yep.
And it was like I recognized it immediately. I was like if we just are becoming friends, I think there's like etiquette to like
always friendship etiquette. There's relationship etiquette in all aspects. All aspects that people don't even know. That's a whole episode.
Romantic relationships and friendships.
Social, romantic, family, all.
There's ways to deal with things. Like if I just met you, like you shouldn't be calling me every single time you call me. You want me to take you somewhere. Like we're not friends like that. We haven't built that foundation of friendships where I will want to be like come in and drive you and pick you up, take you here, take you there. Like no, like we haven't built that foundation. That's bad etiquette. I mean, I don't mind doing things for my friends. I love doing things for my friends.
Right.
If it's like every single time you call me, like
you want something or you need something,
every
time you call me, you're taking something from me.
Exactly.
It's not a friendship.
Right.
Yep.
It's not. That's not. We don't do that to people.
Especially if it's not, and that's what we call reciprocity. And if you aren't reciprocating my emotional needs as well as just friendship needs, being if you're always taking, chances are, we're not
being used.
Yeah, and it's like if we were saying like emotional intelligence, like being emotionally intelligent enough to be like, this person isn't really, I don't know them that well, so should I be asking this person to do things, and do I normally ask people to do things like this? Like it's like you have to be like aware enough, and some people may just not be aware or on that. But it's also you have to be aware of like your boundaries. Like okay, well you cannot be aware of it, but I see it. And
that's why I think communication is always very, very key because, like you said, some people aren't aware of their actions and how it negatively affects other people, which is why it is our responsibilities to be our authentic selves to let people know how we truly feel about it.
Exactly.
If you feel as though you're being taken advantage of, take that friend to the side and be like, hey, I really, really adore our friendship, but every time you call me, you always ask me for something, and I don't really feel comfortable with that. Because then that's you just letting the universe know that you aren't appreciative of that. Also, the individual knowing you aren't appreciative of that. And then that's something that you no longer have to communicate because you've already got it out there.
Right.
So you are being 100% authentic self, whether they receive that or not.
Right. It's up to them.
Exactly.
It's up to them.
It's
the people
up to them.
that matter won't care that you say that.
Absolutely. And that's, if anything, they'll appreciate it. They may actually feel a little butthurt when you do reveal your real emotions when it comes to lots of stuff, but eventually they'll come around. If they care about you, they're compassionate, and they want to be an integral part of your life, they're going to be like, oh, you know what? This person is absolutely right. I need to change my behaviors in order to make this relationship.
Something.
Yep, absolutely. I love that. Done.
Okay.
Yep, love it.
But also, something, you also have to recognize like when to, like if somebody's recognized enough your friends and what they've gone through to see what state they're in and not giving up on people when they're down.
Yes.
In a spot where they're like, like you're going through a rough time. I know I've seen you better than this, so I'm going to make sure that we communicate enough so we can get through it.
Yeah. And being there to support.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
and not just like ditching your friend because they're going through a rough time. It's like, damn, you got to make my rough time even rougher?
Exactly. This is when I need a friend.
I'm going to need you to like come through, and that's like having your back.
Right. Exactly.
And sometimes that's all it takes is you to call that individual and be like, I know you're going through a hard time, but I see that, and I'm here for you.
Right.
If you need to talk about anything, done. And that's
I'm
a
here.
lot of times that's all we need to do.
Yeah.
That's all we need to do for a lot of people, just to let them know that do have
I
somebody in
got
my
you.
corner.
Yeah.
It's totally cool, and you can help them in certain ways,
Right.
but once you start to see, if they're going through like a lot of things that you feel would be kind of a little detrimental to you,
Right.
then you can help them in certain ways also
Without being
while
detrimental to
protecting
yourself.
your energy
Yeah.
and your mental level, your mental capacities, your emotional capacities and whatnot, There are, like you said, Monjour is all about making boundaries. There are boundaries when it comes to certain things like this. There are things you can take in and receive to be able to give out, and there are also some things you can just be like, you know what, I'm not receiving that.
Yeah.
And that's very important just to be able to realize that, And sometimes when it comes to friends, sometimes the toughest thing is like tough love.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you gotta just tell a bitch, hey, you really messing up right now, so I'm gonna take a break from you until you get your shit together. Because if Monjour would come to me and be like that, I've known both of you for like
Yeah.
almost 15 years. If you be like, I'm not talking to you until you get your, I'd be like,
15
I'm really messing up. Like,
Right.
like what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
no, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
We can always be like the good cop. Sometimes we gotta be the bad cop too, for people to learn. Nothing comes easy.
True. That's so true.
That was definitely one of my points. It's like telling somebody when they need to get it together. It's like, girl, I love you enough to be like, you need to get it together.
That's what good friends do.
That's the
what
mark.
friends do.
Honesty. Being honest and yeah, exactly. Being able to tell them, I care about you, I love you, you're my friend, but whatever you're doing, just
You need to slow your roll.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I know what your goals are, and that's not gonna help you go there
Yep.
and get there.
Yep.
So
Any aspect, even comes to relationships.
You'd
If
be like,
you were in a
"What?"
relationship with somebody and I was just like, boo boo, he ain't nobody thought. Get out now.
Right.
I'm gonna be like trying to save you, boo boo. Like,
Yeah.
Like if I feel the energy, you just gotta get out of it.
Yes.
But it's all about,
Exactly.
we all have choices. We all
Right.
perceive things differently, and it's how we react to it and whatnot. But craziness.
But also a point that you made earlier is like being available, and that's something that I know for myself that I need to be better at, because I'm always like so in my own little box that I feel like I can be more available, not only to friends but family as well, and because we all need like somebody there just to be like,
Always.
I'm here.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not alone. You're not gonna go through this alone.
Yep.
And just being available, for a phone call or just to go hang out.
Yep.
yes,
And that's part of social self-care. And that's
Yeah.
sometimes all an individual needs is just to know, like, hey, I have that one person. You don't know how many times you guys know, because you guys are my best friends. Boy, I'll call you crying. I'm so sad, I don't know what's going on in my life. And just talk to you, and after I get a phone with you, girl, I'll be like, what you
I'm
upset
fine.
about? Like, you done, go to sleep. Stop being
sometimes
crazy
it's
and
like
stuff,
letting it
you know?
out too just helps. Like being able to vent. I'm just like, all right, I'm here. I'm listening.
Because a lot of times when you talk to other people, you realize they're going through the same things you're going through. And you're just like, oh, I'm not alone. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I thought my entire family was crazy. Like, what's going on? Like, no. Or my relationship was, like, in shambles, and I thought he was just, no, you got a crazy one, too? Got you. And that just brings things in perspective, and it's just a beautiful thing. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that, though.
You just gotta be open and honest.
Open and honest.
And openness is being vulnerable.
But it's hard. We don't like to be
Okay.
vulnerable.
I say it like it's easy.
Yes, no one likes to be
Just do
vulnerable.
that. That's all you gotta do. You'd be like, okay, how do I do this? But no, I mean, I've practiced trying to be more mindful of like not letting my day take me, away, like getting carried away in a day. That's what I'm trying to say. And just like pausing for a second, like when I do think of someone, just like shooting them a quick text saying, hey, I thought of you, or saw this meme, because don't we keep in contact through memes nowadays a lot?
Yeah.
And it's funny, you just trying to just connect and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you.
Yep. Because a lot of times that's all it takes.
Because it's so simple, and then sometimes like we forget
So
to do
simple.
it. And it doesn't make us bad people. It's just like, you get caught up in your day and you're busy and you're just like, oh shit, and the day gets away from you and it turns into days, sometimes weeks, sometimes, okay, we want months, years, who knows? But,
Yeah.
just to be present in the relationship whatever it is, and finding avenues like, oh, you're doing that, hey, let's do that together. You're working out and you've got goals, hey, let's do that together.
Yep.
Or hey, you know, you're trying to go look for jobs or look for
Like a new car.
a new car. Yeah. Hey, you know, I've got this background. How about we do that together? Or, you know, just like creating different avenues, like, and being engaged in each other's lives.
Which I don't think we actually do enough of now. I think we live in such a competitive world nowadays that everyone thinks they're in competition with one another.
Yeah,
and
it's
I think
like-
that's very detrimental to society because, like, when it comes to my
Yes.
friends, like, if I have a skill set that I can have that I can utilize to make you more successful, I'm going to help you do that.
Yes.
But not everyone thinks that way. Lots of people are thinking, you know, I need to keep all my talents and all my creative skills and all my thoughts inside my head because someone's going to take them. And then after they take them, I'm not going to be able to do what I want. And it shouldn't be that way. It's all about building literally like spider webs. So that you just have this huge one spider web.
Web
You have
of
all these different connections
interconnectedness.
of people you can just pick and choose from. So you guys are all living your best lives. You know,
Yes.
selfishness. That's just it's a waste of time.
It's
Guys.
lame.
Don't be selfish. Please don't be selfish. It is
Selfishness
literally the
equals
way, the
lameness.
biggest waste of time. You will get more by volunteering your time 2 days a week doing something that you probably don't even give two shits about
Yeah.
than you just being selfish for 365 days a year. Trust me. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. So don't be selfish. And don't be that person.
Yeah. But I think my last point that I want to make is probably the most important one is like the ability to be yourself around people. If you're not able to be completely yourself, like if you're goofy, if you're like awkward, you know, if you can't be yourself, that probably isn't, you know, a friend that you need.
Nope.
Yeah, you can be your authentic self, and you have to put up a front. And
Right.
It's like, is this even a real relationship?
Exactly.
Friendship or whatever it's
Yeah.
gonna be? Like, yeah, we have enough representatives out there.
Yeah. And
Why are people trying to keep up appearances? We get so
Right.
many friends that we have that we think are like doing so well, so we love hanging out with them, just so either we can be like seen by them or so we can be accepted by them to just be like in their own little realm, and that's not what it comes down to. It really isn't.
Right.
Like we need to see them for what they are, and then also just know that we are worthy of having as much as they have, you know? Like, don't compare yourself to other people, and don't try to just surround yourself with people because you think you're going to have some kind of, like, gain or access. You see with celebrities all the time, I want to hang out with famous people so I can become famous.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's a cool mentality, but at the same time, you're just using these individuals, and that the end goal is probably not going to be something that's going to be really beneficial to you.
Yeah.
So surround yourself with people that have, like
Minds, yeah.
and then
exactly.
also, I
And
mean,
interests.
even like different
Like-minded
minds, you know,
interests.
like that helps you grow. People
Yeah.
that have, you know, opposing opinions about stuff, you know, that helps to open you up a little bit. But at the same time, just surrounding people that you know are just going to be good for you, because we all intrinsically know the
Right.
good stuff we do. You know,
Yeah.
if you get that feeling, you wake up in the morning, I hate this motherfucker.
Oh my gosh.
That's a strong feeling.
It's a very strong
I
feeling.
know.
Don't hang out with me.
Exactly, but
But people do it every day.
Yeah.
You know, abusive relationships.
Yeah.
put on airs.
Yep. Or just put on the ears. Yep. Or if they try to change you into like a different person, like Monjour he was hitting on, you know, like, hey, if you can't be your authentic self, then who are you? But also it comes in them changing you. You've changed into a completely different person when you were out around them, you know.
Yeah.
Then-
And that's an important point because I feel like there are some relationships that I endured that changed me. Like I was like before I was
Are you
hanging out
talking
with
romantic relationships or are you talking friendships? Like what?
both.
Both? Okay.
Yeah. I would say both. I think like romantic relationships have like maybe a stronger
Yes.
effect.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it was like I endured this like struggle all this time with this person, and I knew I shouldn't have been in it. And now like I'm a completely different person, a stronger person, but like I wasn't the same person going into it that I came out of.
Yeah.
Of it.
Yeah.
So it's like in order to, like I was saying earlier, to see that and just like, okay, no, this isn't something that I
For
need to be
me,
in. This is
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
I even go even deeper. Like I thought about situations where I've been with other people and I've been like, I used to love doing this like so much, and now I don't. And it's just like, why don't I enjoy it? It's like, oh, I wasn't doing it because I enjoyed it. I was doing it because they enjoyed it. You know, and it's just like, oh, that makes sense now. That's why you don't do it. But you forget about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Quite often, you know?
Huh. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's really crazy, but I mean, it's growth.
Yeah.
It's about, and that's what I said, learning more about yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Those are great points.
But yeah, I know not only is having friends, being in different cultures and being from a different place also affects like your friendships.
Yes. So being African, well, first of all, being Eritrean, and I mean, all my Africans can agree with like some of the point. Well, I won't say all. Our experiences are probably different, but I'll just speak from my experience growing up African in the U.S. because like trying to build friendships growing up, baby, my parents were so strict, and if it was like nothing to do with studying and get an education, like they were not about that life. They were just so like for example, like I couldn't talk on the phone to my friends like growing up. Like and trying to be there and present as a friend, and like I'm seeing all like, all my little friends at school, and they're just like all interacting and like, yeah, and they have like all these little inside jokes. I'm just like, I feel like this like outsider like kind of tapping on the window a little bit like, hello, because I'm just like, oh, I don't have that, and my parents were not allowed. They're like, no, read your book. Like that was like the thing that I heard the most was that. What are you doing? Read your book. Why are you trying to do this, do that? You have to study, you have to work smart, you have to be smart for the people.
You get to read your book.
Ma, can I go play outside? Read your book. Can I talk on the phone? Read your book. I'm just like.
My mom had the same, like we had friends, if she wasn't strict, but like she always reminded us, she was like, I'm your friend, you don't need no friend.
It's just like.
You got a real black mom. You don't need no friends, I'm your friend.
Jesus is your friend, go pray.
Exactly.
So it was like things like that. Like for example, like in high school, I would try to, now mind you, this is like a childhood friend of mine, and so she was also from the same community as me. She was also Eritrean, and so I would sit there and be like, hey, I would have to ask permission. Hey, can I go talk on the phone now? She'd be like, yes, and she would pull up a seat right next to me and be like, go ahead.
Not prison style.
I'll wait.
Now she got conjugal
And I would
prison
just
phone
be
calls.
like, I'm just like, oh my God. And so like we would have like, we eventually started having codes where it would be like, she's right there? Yeah, yep. Yes or no questions? Yes. Like, why do you just keep saying Why don't you talk about more? And it's like, I'm thinking in my head like, cause you're right there. I can't talk about nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, right.
Like, no idea what's going on.
And then people knew, like my friends at school knew, they're like, no, you can't call Feleg. Her parents, they super strict. Like she comes from a strict family. Like you can't even touch her. Like prom dates, no baby. Didn't have one. I had to go solo.
Oh.
My dad, and all the a
Oh,
lot of
let's go to
Africans
prom with you.
know.
We would've
I
turned
know,
up.
right? I was turned up. They were like, did you drink? I was like, no, bitch. I'm just happy as hell I'm out the house. And it was and then my dad, like he rolled up in the taxi because he drives a taxi. All immigrants know a lot of their parents, they drive taxis, or they own a convenience store, or they own a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so my dad was the one that was driving the taxi. So he pulled up in his taxi and dropped me off at prom, and I was like, God, this is so embarrassing. I was like, okay. He was like, call me as soon as it is finished. Cause baby, I would have been in so much trouble had I called and nobody else was there, and I had my friends drop me off at the. What is everybody? Like. No, I valued my life as an African growing up. So yeah, you would drive a taxi, and they were so strict that to the point where it was just like very sheltered life. So I had to, as soon as I could, like cultivate experiences for myself to help me grow. And that also included friendships, because it's like I didn't know how to be a friend because I wasn't allowed that in my like development, you know, like period when you're like socializing and everything. Because it's like, you know, I didn't know how to be there for my friend and that was going through something. I didn't even know if they were going through something.
Yeah. Well,
You
I was
know?
to say, like, I'm like the same way. Like, you grew up in a Reacher household, but my family was like extremely like nomadic, and I hated it just because my mom was a single mom, and all my sisters are way older than me, so I was kind of like the only child for like a little while, you know. But because we moved around so much, I didn't have any social skills, like social skills to really like ground me, or to even know like how to make friends, like who are friends, and if I made friends, I would move like 3 months afterwards. So
It's like, what's the
friends-
point?
Exactly. So I would have to
Yeah.
reestablish my whole friend base, and this went on for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
To the point where when I went to high school,
You just
I wasn't in probably half the yearbooks. I just finished school up, and I was just like, yeah, these are people I kind of know, but I didn't grow up with any of these people.
Right.
Like, I don't know who you are. I actually don't have any childhood friends I actually grew up with, like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, people you can be like, oh, yeah, we grew up 30 years ago. None.
Right.
Like, you two are my longest lasting friendships, and that's like 12 years, which is crazy. But before then, no.
Yeah.
No social skills, no ability to like adapt to social situations when it comes to that. So like you said, like being a friend or knowing what friendship and stuff was like was very weird.
It was a novel thing, and so I just like really, and it's just, I don't know, it's what it is. Like, I mean, I recognize it, at least when you can recognize it and like, okay, this is definitely an area where I just need to grow.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah. I mean, and growing up being African, you know, I always also got questions like, you know, can you speak African? It's like, first of all, African is not a language.
Yeah, exactly.
They were like, can you do the clicks? I was like,
Yeah.
I
You
can't.
do that. No.
Like,
Maybe
the ignorance level was just like so high, and like some of them were just doing it to be funny. I was like, no. But then I tried to use it as a form to like educate, but it would also depend on like the situation. Like if they're just doing it just to be funny, it's like okay, whatever.
Right.
But then if there's like, no, I kind of genuinely want to know like what do you speak, like how like what are different things that you do like culturally that are, you know, different. Like, and it's interesting that, because I think being immigrants and like coming here to a culture that my parents like just don't know, they have even more so, or even more reason to like protect their children, because they're just like, well, I don't know like if this situation is going to necessarily be a good situation for you. You know,
Right.
like if I'm trying to do extracurricular activities, I'm just like, yeah, I want to join a dance team. You have to come up with a whole proposal to be like, this is how I'm going to apply it in my life. Like, that just like, I'm able to actually use that now to be able to, in like my, like at work, or like whenever I'm trying to approach somebody about something, like, how is this going to benefit? You know what I mean? And so, I don't know, it's just, growing up African, it's just, when I compare it to other people's experiences, it's just, there's some similarities like with sleepovers. It's like, we have a house. You have a bed. Why do you need to go to somebody else's house?
To sleep over.
Sleep in their bed. I mean, like, but
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to sleep over. You got
that's
a
not
full
the
bed right
point.
there.
Right.
You know, we're gonna have fun. You can have fun anytime. I can take you over there. I'll be like, when you gonna have time? You're not gonna take me nowhere. This is not gonna happen. But it's like, you know, like, I mean, I feel like Black Americans have that in common.
Yeah.
with
Can't
Africans.
nobody
But
sleep
they
over
be
his
like,
house. No, not everybody can
If
come
you
over
sleep
here.
over, I want to know what the address is.
I
Give me
don't
their
know
number.
that. Who is their family?
Yep.
Especially when I was
Let me
trying to
talk to
introduce
your
my
mama
American
first.
friends.
I got to talk to mama.
I would be like, who are these people? What is their name? So her name is, you know, Katie. Who is Katie? Why do you guys have to go somewhere? Because we want to be friends, and no. Just immediately cut Katie off at the knees. I just be like, but she's a nice person. That's okay.
We can't trust Katie.
Just say haha at school. How you doing? That's it. Come home. I just be like so devastated. I'm not traumatized, y'all. Not at all.
You gotta call Katie back. Like, Mama said I can't come visit you, Katie. Why? I just can't.
Girl, I was active in choir growing up, and we would have choir concerts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you would have band concerts, orchestra concerts, whatever. And so I had to fight them tooth and nail to like even do this. I was like, but this is for a grade. Like I'm gonna straight up get an F. She was like, what is this? Why do you like they had their hand gestures. Why do you keep on doing this? What is the point?
What do you have to say?
Is this useful for your life? For your futurity? That's how they say it. For your futurity.
Maturity, but future. Yes, maturity. Yes.
I love that word.
It's a
actually.
great business name, futurity. Don't take
But
me off. Futurity
I
is on the
like
trademark.
to do it though. And they like to see that you are participating in other things other than just reading your book. And then every time. So one day, what I did was I was like, I'm gonna stay over at school, and I'm gonna go over to so and so's house. And we're friends because we're in the choir together, and we'll just go to the choir, to the concert together. We're gonna get ready, we're gonna go eat, and we're gonna do this and da 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 da. My mama, and then she called up to the school, and she was like, "Where is my daughter?" Like, how did she know? And she was just like, would always call to check in, and I did not know that before. And so my choir teacher was like, you need to get over here now. She wants to have you here at the school waiting until 7 p.m. for the concert. I was like, but it's only 4. What am I going to do for 3 hours? At school.
With nobody there.
With nobody there. And she was like, yeah, that's what she. I was like, dang, and it's like I couldn't even be myself. Like my first homecoming I went to was my senior year.
That's crazy.
Like that's how strict they were.
Because homecoming start freshman year. You go to high school, you go homecoming done.
Year.
You been there. Senior. It's crazy.
And I had to be like, I have a choir concert. Both face lie. Kinda. A little bit. But anyway. So, I mean, these were my experiences, and these are what shaped me and made me into the person I am today. So I am grateful for them. Because I could look back on them now, and just like all these like different situations are just so. It's funny kind of looking back.
Yeah,
on
you're just like you're just protecting me. It was cool.
Yeah, they were being overprotective.
Yeah, you were being like mom and daddy.
You
It's
didn't
cool.
know about the culture here and who's good, who's bad. You don't want me to fall into the wrong crowd. And it's like, but the time to make the mistakes is when I'm under your roof, not out of it. So, but anyway, I digress.
Wait, you say that now though, but baby,
I don't know what I'm going to be like whenever I become a parent, whenever that will be.
You gonna be the same way?
I hope not.
Read your
Well,
book.
that's kind of scary. Read your book. What are you doing with your life?
What are you doing with your futurity?
Okay.
I'm like, you're just like your mama fella. Girl.
Oh my God. Don't you see these kids? She would always compare us to other kids. They are making this whatever invention. Why don't you be more like them and be like, because you don't give us the resources and the opportunity and the support.
You're like, mama, because they got friends. They got friends to help them. I don't got no friends.
Right.
I can go to my house.
Mom, Dad, I love you. I'm just saying, you did your best.
When you were in school, did you encounter any, like a lot of like other immigrant kids that you could actually like confide in or talk to? Were there any other African people, any other Eritreans actually? Because I mean, like Eritrea's pretty small,
Oh, we have such a small community here where we grew up. So yeah, like we would just compare like our situations and things, and we would laugh about it even then at the time. We were like, man, our mamas are crazy.
Yeah.
Or our dads are crazy too.
Would you did have
And
other
so-
individuals to kind of talk to,
but we
like,
definitely-
culturally about?
Yes,
Yeah, gotcha.
yes. Like in school, like it was a little bit different because I went to a school where it was predominantly white, and then I was a part of a desegregation program at that time, and so they would literally ship us, black kids, out to the county school.
Gotcha.
And so it was very much black, white. And so there wasn't a whole lot of other cultures in that mix.
Gotcha.
And so, which was so unfortunate, because I'm just like, this is not real life. y'all. Because
Right.
like I came from a school system that was like focused on international studies, and
There were no international.
it was a city. It was
Yeah.
a city school, but like I mean, I had Russian, Bosnian, Vietnamese, Chinese. I mean, you name it, Guatemalan. Like we had all different kinds of cultures and people there, and then to go from that to this like culture shock of just like white and black, and I was like,
It's weird. Yeah.
it just like it really threw me. So like that was an adjustment too. But yeah, I did have like some people that I could culturally be like, can you believe that somebody was like saying this, you know, like making clicks and all of this stuff. It's just like, ugh.
And they're like, yeah, girl, it was probably Anna from blah, blah, blah. She did the same thing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's crazy, man.
anyway.
Crazy. So how do you think that has kind of shaped who you are today? Like, do you think you're more accepting? Do you think you're more tolerant? Do you have like more patience? Was it
I'm a lot
detrimental
more
to like your
patient.
like upbringing? Like, how do you think it shaped you?
I've definitely been more patient now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it taught me patience rather for ignorance
Mhm.
and being able to use those moments to teach rather than to be mad or upset or let it affect my energy. Like even like being able to say my name, for example. Like I never got my panties in a bunch about that 'cause I'm just like, not everybody necessarily has the how do you call it? Like the coordination to be able to pronounce my name correctly. And even though it's 2 syllables, like
Mhm.
there is actually a certain way for it to be pronounced. And so I've been a lot more tolerant of people that come from different backgrounds because I was exposed to so many people from different backgrounds
Gotcha.
early on. Because that was definitely a culture shock going
Yeah.
into like a white-black situation versus multicultural
Yeah.
situation. And so,
I can only imagine what you went through. I mean, your name is Monjour. What do people call
Right.
you when it's growing up? My name's Tyler, but I still get Tyrone.
it's like,
Terrence. I'm just
you
like,
look at the-
I'm black, but I ain't that black. I ain't
Right.
Tyler.
No, you can tell like if you have a substitute teacher when they get to your name, it's like it's Monjour. Like I'll just say it.
Don't
before
even say it,
get
but
out,
we got
know.
you. She gets
no,
to the
it was me all day because my last name starts with A.
You're always the first one. You're always the
So
first
I was
one.
the first one. So what they'll do is they'll look at the roster sheet and they'll be like, so if I can't pronounce your name, I was like, as soon as I heard that disclaimer, I was like, yep, my name is Feleg Abraha. And I'll be like, how did you know? Come on.
Right.
They look at it and they just skip to Tiffany Blackwell. You forgot me. They're like, we're not even
Not
gonna
you're never
attempt
gonna
that.
try.
Yeah, you're not even gonna
Not even
attempt
gonna
that.
try. Not even gonna try.
We'll go straight to
So
the
they were
D's.
like, thank you. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. I understand.
That's
Tolerance,
rough.
man. Definitely. Yes.
That's rough.
But
But we all go through it though. We all go through it, like definitely.
Yeah,
I
you
did
can't
all
let
mostly
it-
predominantly the white school, so definitely feel you when it comes to like definitely like ethnically like not as intense as you, but being a black person in school, super weird. Only black person in your class, super weird. But you get used to it after a while.
yeah.
Right.
Yep. And I think that's a really detrimental thing to like our society and culture is when you grow up and you're the only black person in like predominantly like white class, or you don't have like other people around you, because once you start to get used to that, then for me it was honestly like a culture shock because I went to Atlanta for the first time when I was like 14. I was just like, "Hi, Atlanta." So many black people here. Like, where these people come from? And it was just like, it was a culture shock for me,
Yeah.
and I am black. And it was just
Yeah.
like, this is some weird like stuff, you know. And I don't think it should be that way. Like we all
It
live
shouldn't.
just world's a crazy place.
Yeah.
Just
it
say
is.
that now. It's a crazy place.
Yes, I've definitely had that same experience where it's like, because I grew up in a predominantly white school, and like I also was like in like honors classes, so it was like
Anything gifted honors,
right.
You were always the only black person in there.
Yeah, it was like it
Yes.
was very
Chilling.
weird experience.
Yep.
And then like after I graduated and came to like college and stuff, and just like assimilating with different cultures, like in different experiences, it was
Yeah.
like it was difficult to say the least.
Yeah.
You had to like get used to different situations, and just
Yeah.
like just the way that you speak and how you carry yourself. I was like, I carry myself this all my life through all this experience, and now I have to try to like
change,
kind of find out where I fit. Like, yeah,
this is weird. Like, yeah.
I think from your situation, it's like when you do grow up like different, it kind of like molds you into a person, like a more accepting person, knowing that like,
oh my God,
I know that I'm different. I know that
yes.
this is probably what I'm going to experience, and you can like relate to people who are different.
Yep.
You know,
because it's like it's interesting because it's like I had to learn how to be a friend, you know, like how to interact with people. I'm just like, that's weird because it's like, you know, here I am in my own little world, and I didn't realize like how unique my experience was until I actually like had to like verbalize it out loud to someone, because it was like, yeah, I actually didn't learn English first, even though I could speak it so clearly. Tigrinya was my first language.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to learn English. And then to go from that to, I think it was in kindergarten, because like I said, I went to international studies school. Then they started like teaching us, you know, foreign languages, so I chose French. And then I also attended a Greek Orthodox church, so I was like hearing Greek. So man, when I tell you language-wise, I was all messed up as a kid. No wonder they put me in the slow class in kindergarten.
Because they're just like, we don't even know what she's saying. But you over there speaking Eritrean, you speaking Greek, you speaking English, you got everything.
Everything. But like trying to, yeah. So anyway, point is, you know, just like trying to get all of that like figured out and trying to like develop relationships and friendships in an environment that's so restricting was just like, I didn't know what a healthy relationship actually for real looked like.
Yeah.
And I think you started saying that that's what you're gonna like talk about is like toxic relationships.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely toxic relationships. But what I want is, do you have like maybe 3 tips you could give people that are literally like navigating this thing right now, or maybe if there's some kids out there that come from a different like ethnic background that are struggling right now to like fit in with people, like what are maybe 3 things you could tell people to
don't
really
fit in, don't try to fit in, don't try to fit in, find
definitely,
your tribe.
Got you.
Find your people, find your tribe, and then from that, grow.
Got you.
Because trying to fit in and trying to assimilate, I tried to do that, and I lost a part of my identity.
Your sense of self. Yep.
And sense of self. And that is
and culture,
what you
things
need to
that make
keep
you,
intact. And yeah, your culture and like what makes you you. So definitely don't try to assimilate. Another tip would be to, with that tribe, just use each other to vent about different situations that you do go through that are trying, and that, you know, if you got made fun of for being different, you know, if, like, for example, my mom used to cook Eritrean food. It was very strong smell. And there were times,
be weird too, bringing your lunch to school, even that, you know, with it being Eritrean.
He'd be like, "Is that White Castle? What is that? What do I smell? Is that Chinaman?" I'll just be
Not
like
White
in my
Castle,
field.
the
I'll be
Chinaman.
like, I'll be going back to my mom like, "Mom, stop! Just like, can you not like?" Because like I'm going to school and I'm smelling bad, and then they over there making fun of me, and so like being able to like vent with your people that you've chosen that have that commonality or share with you is good.
That could be
So
super
that would be
traumatizing.
Yeah.
To enjoy eating something that smells fantastic to you, people being like, that smells like, you know how kids are mean.
Oh my
I'm
God.
never eating that ever again.
Ruthless.
Like, what?
So ruthless.
Huh.
So.
Like somebody coming telling me my tacos smell gross. I can't never eat tacos. You got me fucked up.
A third point, let me see, what would be a third point? And just laughing about it. You know, it's a temporary, it's temporary, like trying to keep things in perspective. So
Love it.
Being able to like keep it light and just, because eventually those differences will be celebrated. And baby, since Black Panther came out, everybody want to be African now.
Everybody, right? Everybody trying to be African. What's your favorite dish? Rice
You gonna
jollof.
click now?
Okay.
Rice jollof. You was over there just eating macaroni and bland macaroni and cheese.
Everybody converted.
Everybody converted.
Wakanda forever. R.I.P. Tabitha.
Yes.
Wearing kente cloths and stuff, kente cloth masks in the store. Like,
Yeah.
where you get that mask from? But that's crazy, man. But I'm happy you made it through, and I'm happy that you had growth, and I'm happy that you
Yeah.
came out of it on a really, really positive note, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Because things are always positive. Like I said, like, we always have toxic people around us, you know? And we just have to look for, like, the signs and stuff of just, like, toxicity and what toxic people really, really like, you know? And people don't realize that people that don't want to see you happy are, like, toxic, and that's, like, their favorite thing. So when you're out, when you're doing, like, exactly what you need to do, or you're happy, or you are in, like, your creative element, and you are creating what you want to, you know, you always get toxic people in there to be like, oh, well, I don't like that. Is this what you really should be doing? Why are you doing this? Because they themselves don't believe that, one, they could do it, or even have any sense of self a lot of the time. So they have to feed off of you and your happiness because they lack that.
Yes.
And that's one of the main signs of you having a toxic person in your life, is when you surround yourself with this individual constantly, but you always feel a lack of love,
Yeah.
or a lack of inner peace, or a lack of acceptance. You know, if you think you have to put on a facade or be a certain individual, you know, that is a sign of you being surrounded by a toxic individual, you know?
Yep.
Toxic people also like to really just kind of like get into like your headspace. So they put lots of thoughts inside of your head that you may not necessarily want to think or do think.
Yeah.
But because you surround yourself with them so often, that just becomes like a sense of yourself because of them trying to put their toxicity, their anger, their hurt, their just any kind of like honestly problems on you because they themselves don't know how to deal with it, you know? Toxicity also manifests itself in lots of people that don't want you to have other friends or have other opinions. You know, toxic people like to keep you isolated, like to keep you by yourself.
Oh my God.
They also like to take your sense of like autonomy, so who you are as a person.
Yeah.
They like to strip you of all of those things so that they can have lots of control over your being individually. Because the thing that toxic people don't know is that they don't have control over their own lives. So when they think they can control you, then that gives them also a sense of control. Like, hey, I can manipulate this person to do this, so I'm in control. My life's great, which is a horrible mind for them to be in.
Yes.
Because they depend on that, they then also have to go out and get other people that they can also make toxic. Because just having one person isn't enough, because that's not fulfilling enough. So they have to go and put their little tentacles out and reach in everybody else and draw them in, you know? Yep.
Yeah.
That's also really, really sign of a toxic person. Also, like things like lack of financial responsibility. Definitely when it comes to relationships, this is a really, really big thing that is extremely key, especially when you're in a relationship with somebody that you want to build a life with. If you get in a relationship with them and you see that they have horrible spending habits, horrible money habits when it comes to stuff, that is also another sign of a toxic relationship. Because that is going to be detrimental to not only both of your kind of energies when you intermingle, also not only your livelihoods, but that also means that that person doesn't have the mental acuity to be able to manage something like finances. And if you can't manage finances, then think about things that are even more difficult, like your emotional acuity, like your way to process things, you know, your mental capacity to empathize with people, your mental capacity to be compassionate with other individuals, you know. All of these things play with one another. Also, when it comes to finances, I always think about like physical spaces, like environmental spaces, or even them as a whole. They have bad hygiene per se, or if their home environment or even work environment is extremely cluttered or dirty, then that also leads you to think that that could be a toxic person, because your environment is literally a representation and a manifestation of what you are inwardly. So if you are...
Could it be though, like say for example, someone is not strong with their finances, but they are willing to acknowledge that and try to do
Yes,
better.
if they are willing to acknowledge it, absolutely. But when I say financial acuity, this is things that they may not confide in you in. It's different if I was to say, hey, I'm horrible at balance, like budget and money. Can we do this together? Because that is a sign of communication.
Yes, exactly.
Not a sign of weakness.
So that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
If you live with another individual and you are both working, you both have jobs, and you are paying the majority of the bills, and you're just like, why isn't this being taken care of and whatnot? And you know that they have the support
Means
system
to
and
be
the
able to
means
do
to be
it.
able to do it, but just don't do it, then that also is a sign of disrespect for you and your relationship. And then also lets you know that they, like I said, like their financial acuity isn't where it needs to be, which can also be a reflection of them. Of course, we all go through moments where we're broke or where we're struggling with money and things like that. But when when you start to build weird things, another sign of toxicity is white lies. When you no longer have a sense of who this individual is because they tell you so many different things that you don't know what to believe, then that is a sign of also toxicity in a toxic relationship. White lies are probably the biggest clue that you can get when you are in a relationship with anybody, because then you start to kind of see.
Like what kind of white lies? Like,
oh, people tell white lies all the time. Oh, it could be as simple as I'm successful, I'm not promiscuous, or, like, I want the best for you. Or, hey, we're going to do this, and this is going to be really, really cool, but we're going to do this, but I don't really want to go there after this time. Why don't you want to go there after this time? I don't really know. Because you got an ex or something there, Once you start to kind of talk to people and you start to figure out, like, these things like, oh, well, why were you late coming home? Oh, it's just one of those things that get caught up at work. And if it's always been caught up at work and you're just like, that's not something that I even know is true because you didn't even work today. People get caught up in their little white lies. And it's all those white lies that start to build up and accrue so that you can finally be like, holy
your word
shit.
That holds no
Absolutely.
value.
We've all been in relationships with people that have been like, where were you at? What were you doing? How you feel about such and such? And you really feel out after you guys break up. Like, that was all just a facade. Those were all little white lies for me to believe in you, or for me to have a false sense of security, so you can use your toxicity to manipulate me or to get some benefit out of me, or for you to feel as though you're a bigger person, or for growth. It's all about power and control.
Oh, yeah,
And
I do agree with that.
Yeah, and it's
So it's like, if you feel like you have to present yourself in a different light to be able to control the situation, because people forget that, like, even withholding information that the person does actually need to know, like, that is a form of manipulation, because you're not giving that person the choice.
Absolutely.
To make a decision.
Even when it comes to
based
you being
off that information.
passive aggressive, something bothers you and you tell them, oh, nothing's bothering me. That is a form of a white lie. Because now you are, one, denying yourself honesty and compassion for yourself to be able to tell this person the truth, and then you also don't feel comfortable enough to be able to tell this person the truth. So if you don't feel comfortable confiding in this person sincerely, giving him 100% the way you feel or your emotions, and you know they aren't going to accept that, then that's a sign of a toxic relationship, because you need to have somebody that's compassionate, that's really, really accepting, and also someone that is willing to work on things and to be able to understand stuff, People that are understanding or lack understanding when it comes to stuff, or don't want to understand you, also a form of toxicity when it comes to lots of stuff. And then one of my favorite things too, this is like honestly the last one, is mutual avoidance, which I'm sure we've all gone through. Mutual avoidance is when you both just won't even want to be around each other. You don't want to come home after the end of, you got off of work, you've been working 12 hours. Oh, I really don't want to go home because I'm going to have to see this motherfucker there. Or, would you want to go to dinner? I'm busy, sorry. You don't have anything else to do. That's mutual avoidance, You both don't want to see each other, there's a reason for that. So these are all signs for you to be able to look at toxic relationships. And honestly,
and looking at yourself too, because sometimes you could be the toxic person.
Yes,
you know
and it definitely comes
and it's
down.
like being able to like be self-aware, and if you need to go to therapy and like talk some things through, and be like, you know what, I've noticed this pattern. Am I contributing?
Yep.
Is it me?
What you just said there, therapy, unwillingness to seek help, toxic relationship. If you want to be able to build something and you are not open to seeking help in order to build these relationships, you are a toxic individual, because it's not something that you inherently want. For that. And then you're just leading the other individual on. So there are lots of things to really think about, reflect upon. But at the end of the day, when you know if something that you want to work on is something that will be fruitful, or something that you know is necessary for you to have growth, and you want to really, really stay with this person, think to yourself, how will this affect me now? Will this affect me in 5 years?
Future, yes.
How does this, and then also, what is my mental, emotional, and physical state? doing all of these things. You know, you always know. I think people should just trust themselves a lot. This has to go with a lot of self-care, and you really building good enough self-care for you to be able to make conscious decisions where you honestly and just truthfully trust yourself.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to, is to make the right decision. But if you feel deep down inside you got a man at home that ain't shit, that you probably need to leave because he isn't giving you the support or the economic resources and stuff like that, or he ain't taking care of your kids, or he isn't putting his best foot forward, or you just don't enjoy being around them anymore for certain reasons, then you really need to just sit down and think to yourself, is this something that I would want to work on, and is this something that the other individual will be willing to work on as well?
Yeah.
Ask yourself that, and then sit down and ask the other individual, is this something that you're willing to work on, or is it something that you are not willing to work on? I'll have your answer. If they're willing to work on it, you are too. You guys can hopefully get through it. If not, it wasn't meant to be, but at the same time, you don't live your life with any regrets because you tried.
But then actions speak louder than words.
And actions speak louder than words.
Because,
Absolutely.
you know, a person that is manipulative or that is toxic will be like, yes, I'm willing to work on it. But then some weeks or months go by and you're still at the same place.
Yep.
And it's like, okay.
Yep.
So, no.
Yep, and that has to do with just stagnation and growth. If you're in a relationship and there is stagnation and growth, if you both aren't growing, you both are in the same place, then you need to sit back, both of you, and really realize and really reanalyze your relationship, what your goals are, what you both want to do, because we're all different individuals, you know? I always want to do what Monjour want to do.
Right.
He don't always want to do what I want to do, but at the same time, we
Right.
compromise and we know these things. We communicate about stuff, you know, when it comes to stuff, you know. We always know at the end of the day we're gonna eat some tacos. So look, that's
Right, we
always
agree on
done.
that.
You know
Yeah.
what? You're talking about tacos so much. I'm
Right.
feeling like, oh, I need some food to eat. I need to eat some tacos too.
Right, but those are definitely all signs of just toxic relationships
And
in general. So
those are very true signs because I've dealt with a lot of toxic people. No, seriously, like
Mine
everything
was,
you
like,
were
from
saying
personal experience.
from personal experience. Like if you are experiencing any of these things, that is definitely toxicity.
yeah,
Because I've experienced it firsthand, and it doesn't feel good, and you don't want to stay there. You just
don't
want to
wanna
get
stay.
away fast as
Yep.
possible.
So what? Controlling behavior.
just like everything we talked about, controlling behavior, mutual avoidance
Growth
when it comes to
mindset,
stuff.
financial.
Like just horrible decisions when it comes to stuff. Lack of
Closing you
empathy,
off from
lack of
friends.
compassion, isolation. Like
Opposing
these are all
opinions.
Opposing, yeah, absolutely. Like these are all, and it's cool to have opposing opinions. Like we won't all agree
Oh,
on
of
things when it
course.
comes
Right.
to lots of stuff. But once you start to get to
You
a
can
point where you have somebody that
respect.
has if they don't respect your opposing opinion, then that's when you start to have problems. You
Yeah.
know. That's when they also, if they try to change your mindset because you don't agree exactly what they want to and they won't budge on it and they got to make sure that you on the same level, that's
Right.
also
Or your
very
friends
toxic.
have a different opinion than them, and you will like bring it to them, and they try to convince you that
Yep.
everybody's wrong, but they're right.
Or even when it comes to just friends. I don't like this bitch, so you can't hang out with her. No, that's you, boo boo.
That's a you and them
Because this
problem.
don't have shit to do with me. That's all you. So you do what you got to do. I'll figure this
Figure it
out
out.
myself. And if I figure
Yeah.
they're toxic, I will definitely cut ties with them.
Yeah.
No disrespect to you, but at the same time, your emotions and what you have to do is not going to physically, emotionally, or mentally influence me in any way, shape, or
Yes.
form.
Yeah.
Unless you were just like, that nigga did blah, 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 something super heinous. Then I would be like, oh, we definitely gonna fuck with him.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? Then done.
Exactly.
But for just, he invited me a drink at the club. Cool, you need to work on some shit.
Okay. But I
Clearly,
also
you feel
think,
entitled for some reason.
everybody can grow and change, and I do believe in that. But I do also, you have to look at, does this person have the capacity to even get to
Yes.
this level that I want them to get there? And some
And-
people just
yep.
don't have the capacity to get there. I
Yep.
know I'm not going to tell anybody's business, but like, there are some people that don't even have the capacity to imagine a different future.
Or even know how to navigate it. Or
Right.
even
Yeah. Where to
self-actualize or really realize what their problems are.
start. Yeah.
Ooh,
And
that's
if
a
you don't
big
realize
one.
what your problem is, you're not going to fix it.
Yep.
Right.
And if you don't think you have a problem, you're not going to fix it. And a lot of people in toxic
Exactly.
relationships, because they think they're right and they have this really, really weird mindset that is, you know, like, hey, I am the primary, I'm number one in everything, every aspect of my life.
Yeah, their inner dialogue is just
It's all messed up.
Horrible.
Then of course you're not going to be able to get anywhere because these people aren't even ready to change. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to also, that's important, find someone too where if you do have differences that is willing to change, because if you're not willing to change, then don't waste your fucking time.
Right.
You know, guard your energy, make boundaries, and it's what it comes down to is boundaries.
Yeah.
Communication and letting people know how you feel when you feel it. And I think that we would be in a much better world if people really communicated right off the bat what they felt after really thinking about it. Like, don't just spit whatever comes out of your mouth the first thing you do. Really, literally think about it. Process your emotions, and then come to the problem or come to the person that is really causing you this anxiety or these problems, and just communicate. Talk to them. Let them know.
Yes.
Let it out. See how receptive they are about change. See how receptive they are about growth between you two. And if they're about it, they're about it. If they aren't, you got your answer.
I mean, like, society really kind of needs something like this to develop in kids, maybe in the school
Right,
system
I
or
was
school
just
setting,
thinking that.
because not every single parent has those tool sets or those tools to be able to teach and dispense that to their kids. Like, it could be, you know, a single family home and they gotta work to make ends meet, so they can't teach that to their children
Yep.
because they're not there to teach it to them, because they're just trying to, you know, they're struggling to just survive. And so, like, these things, unfortunately, you have to, like, seek out in order to learn them. But I mean,
Which
man,
is why I love therapy. I say therapy for everybody.
I wonder what the difference would be if
This was like a course in
if
school.
this was a course in
Like-
school. You know, you gotta like like there's a
We should
thing
have
to,
this
like,
in school. How to process your
graduate.
emotions. How to know how you're feeling
Exactly.
at any given time. Because a lot of times as individuals, it took me three years to learn how to really process about how I felt and why I felt that way.
Yeah.
Because I would get angry and I would just shut it off. Or I would find some other vice to really be like numb me so I didn't feel that way
Feel
anymore.
it.
And it's just like, no. You're not helping anything. You are literally just prolonging it and helping it to continue to manifest. You
Yeah.
know? So what is it that's going on? Like, why do I feel this way? And that's what it comes down to, is why we feel the certain ways, and also doing proactive things in order for us to, like I said, just live our best lives.
Yeah, because I mean, it's totally like, I'm kind of taking it back to nursing, because it's like there's different stages of development. In order for you to graduate to the next one, you have to be able to finish the last one. And if you can't ever get past this stage, you're never going to get to the self-actualizing stage.
Right.
Or when it comes to you, you're a nurse.
Yeah.
It comes down
That's-
to
yeah.
not diagnosing the symptoms, but diagnosing the cause of everything. You've got to get down to the cause. You feel angry for a certain reason. Why do you
Why?
feel angry? Why do you feel anxious? It's because there is, you got to get back to the diagnosis, boo-boo. Like, what are you diagnosing? You can't just do symptoms. Symptoms
get to the
manifest in
why.
way different times. You have to literally get to the cause. Definitely
Yes.
get to the cause.
Oof,
So,
I'm so happy that you talked about that.
I love it. Get rid of toxic people, girl. Don't do it. Mm-mm. And if you do have them, work with them. If they're not trying to work, you gotta cut them off, boo boo. You gotta cut them off quickly. Yeah.
Well, that wraps up episode 4.
4. Yes.
Yes. Can I? Yeah.
Good job, team.
Okay, good job, great job, great
All
job.
about friendship. We're friends, so this was a perfect episode for us to be able to just talk about you guys and building friendships, lasting relationships, toxicity and stuff. We've all experienced that, and
Growing
you
up
know,
in
we
different
just
culture
yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
definitely.
So, all right. Well, this wraps us up, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Stay tuned.
Episode 5.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Love
Bye.
you.
The Fineprint Podcast with Tai, Feleg, and Monjour.